Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
I got my my access back, so now I can come in as a panelist instead of just as a participant. So
Okay.
Okay. I thought you were wondering
British Aussie looks like this could be a possibility. It looks like it's have an uptrend, up arrow. I think that one looks it's going in the right direction with the right arrow. Let's take a look and see if we have enough room for a trade. Here's the arrow, here's the entry, here's 20 pips. Now it's got 19.3 pips to the upside. I think we could maybe take a peek at that one.
yeah, I think it's almost good enough.
Looks like it's going in the right direction. Looks like we have a bounce, we have an arrow, and we can have a go with, it's within a pip or two. You may want to maybe, I think I'll take this one. So this is a buy. And let's see, British Aussie. Got over here, British Aussie. And we have a buy on that one. And we're going to put our stop and target in. Let me get this one done first. And then we come over here, we go to right click, go to our, actually we just come down here to where our trade was entered. And right click, modify and delete the modify or delete order. We're in the trade right now. Got 400 pips to the stop. Actually 40 pips to stop, that's 400 on this little trade box. Click on the red box that puts it right down below. 20 pip target, click on the blue box, it puts it right down below in the trade profit, and click the blue line, and your stop and target are all set. Let's take a look at the Euro CAD, see what direction that one's doing. And so we come over here to the Euro CAD, and we are going to, let's see, ooh, that's, so there could be lots of room to the upside on this one, possibly. We'll zoom out, see where we have lots of zones on top, not too many zones on the bottom that I can see. So I think we're going to pass on this one. Although there is lots of room. If this gets a green zone, well, even if it gets a green zone, it's going the wrong direction. But if we can get some, if it comes into around the 1500 hour time frame, then that would be a contra trend trade within the 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock East Coast time. And you're able to do that, but that's one of the strategies is to take contra trends, but only during that reversal time frame. And mark my 1700. So I got 15 to 1700 is the time on the charts for this.
Let's not forget about non-farm payroll this morning as well.
Yeah, we've already mentioned it.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
We already talked about that.
Perfect.
That's at 8:30. Let's take a look at any other folders that we may have. Let me take a look here.
Al, can you just adjust your screen a little bit if possible? Because some people can't see the pairs. I don't know if it's possible.
Pairs. Well, that's I can try.
On your left-hand side, it kind of goes off the screen.
Well, I've got to switch my chart up here.
You know, if it's possible.
Yeah, see there. That's about. Let me see. No, let me go and pull the pairs up here.
Can we move like the whole thing over to the right a little bit?
To the right, like there.
Yeah, like grab the blue band right below where your cursor is right now, where your arrow is. Just
the blue band. You mean the?
It was the screen behind that.
Actually, even your try the.
You're talking about this blue band?
Yeah, actually, what it is you have to. Can you do a full screen? You know where
Well,
you've got that.
that's
The
full
next
screen
bit.
like that.
Yes. Now
That's
we
full
can see
screen.
it. Hmm.
Okay, maybe that might work.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so does that help? Is that
Yeah,
better?
because now we can see when you have a chart open which
Okay.
pair it is because it was cutting it off.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for telling me about that.
Yeah, sure.
So we have the British US. Oh, what we were looking at the Euro CAD. Let's get back on that one again. I think that we were looking, that was in the wrong direction, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it was wrong direction. We're in a downtrend with an up arrow. There is a lot of room to the upside on this thing. So I guess that's, it's a contra trend trade. There's lots of room to the upside. And the question of whether or not you can get your 20 pips out of this. Let's see where we at. That's 38 pips to the red zone. As I prefer to see it inside this zone right here. And anything else? Oh, non-farm payroll. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Let's pull that over and see what we have here for the non-farm payroll. Friday, February 5th, 7:15. The British has a red folder. The governor is going to speak. Canadian dollar at 8:30. This is non-farm employment change. That's all part of the non-farm payroll report. So the Canadian dollar and the U.S. dollar is going to be affected with a lot of red folders between 7:15 and 8:30. You'll start seeing some movement about 8:25. You'll start seeing some of these moves starting to make, but don't get faked out because a lot of times they'll start moving in the one direction only to turn around to the other direction. So be careful with that. And let's see, what else do we have here? We had a Euro Swiss earlier. Let's take a look at that one. And that's an up arrow into a red zone. We have lots of green below us as we zoom out. And still a lot of green on below. So we are in an uptrend. We have an up arrow, but we have this zone right in front of us. And I'm going to move this over to the reversal time frame, which is right there. And let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, I want to look at the heat map here. Let's see what we at. We're at the British Aussie was the trade that we took. Not a lot of British Aussie are pretty close together as far as strength wise. So that one could be a little bit, may not have a lot of volatility on that one. Euro Swiss. Euro seems to be the strongest pair. So we want to trade in direction of the Euro today. That could give some rise if this thing breaks out of this zone, but I don't know that you're going to get enough room to the upside to be able to take the trade. You have to get in. You have to get in right down about this area before you could really take that trade to the ups to that top target. So there's really not enough room to the up target. It's like 108.09 would be where you would want the entry to be on this one with the right direction. By the time it pulls back to that, you'd be getting a bounce off of this little level here, which could work actually, but you may want to be waiting for another arrow to come in. But right now, this is a no trade.
Now, what's the strength of the U.S. today in the correlations?
Well, the correlations, let me show you my correlation map here. Let's see. This is what I'm looking at for the strength of comparing all the different currencies with each other on different time frames. On the 1 hour chart, right now, the CAD is Canadian dollar is the strongest compared to the yen. So right now, on the 1 hour and on the 30-minute, we have the euro and Canadian dollar are the two strongest. So ideally, you'd want to trade those against one of the two weakest.
So it looks good for a buy.
Yeah, so
My buy gold trades.
So it looks like it's a buy for anything CAD and euro right now. CAD and euro is the top two. So the CAD, euro, and the Aussie are the three strongest. British is starting to get a close scheme in third on right now. Swiss, British. I like trying like the top two against the bottom two within that direction. That usually helps kind of weighs the odds a little bit in your favor. So right now we're looking at strength of the CAD, strength of the euro, and I don't worry too much about the 5 minute. That's where you start looking at retracements as opposed to direction. These are the two direction ones. These are more of the retracement sites. 1 hour, I've got 30 minute, a 15 minute, and then a 5 minute here. So that's just what that's looking at. We'll just keep an eye on that this morning, see how things go.
Yeah, good to know.
Any questions? British Aussie on the 5 minute. British Aussie. That's getting down to the time frame, so that's more of a peekaboo time frame. British Aussie. Let's just see what the direction is. Like I said, we want to be looking at trading in the direction. The Aussie is relatively weak, so we'd be trading this in the. So this is on a 15-minute chart. We have a bounce arrow, and we have a little bit of a pullback right now. So this could be a possibility. Now the question is there enough room here? And this would be your target. And we're looking for 20 pips. We're right down here at 23 pips, about where the price is right now. It could be a possibility. We have a bounce, we have the arrow, and we have a target within the range. And actually, that's the one we took. Okay, that's still in play. There's a little bit better on this pullback. It's a little bit better entry right now, actually. And here was the entry for the. You see the little green line there. That's where the entry was, and then the stop is below here. I'll pull that back a little bit. We have this zone behind us, so that if it pulls back, we still have this zone to give us a little bit of a buffer before we get to our stop. And let's see.
If you guys have any questions, put them in the Q&A and we'll address them as we go.
Until then, we kind of wait and see what happens here. Let's take a look at this on the 5 minute chart. We'll do a little peekaboo on this and see how far it pulled back. Nice little pullback, and now we're see if this candle. If we have this little, have a strong move down, got a little bit of rejection. Now it's coming back up again. We do have a little bit of a trend line right in here. Now this is on a 5 minute chart, but I'll use this. This would be an entry. I'd use this for the trend. And actually, that's where the arrow was, so we can use that as a beginning. We have a little pullback hit, pullback hit.
This is the pound Aussie, Trey.
Yep, pound Aussie. And pound and Aussie. And that's right now they're pretty neck and neck as far as the Aussie looks like it's there's not a whole lot of volatility to it right at the moment, but it is a tradable trade. The only thing to be careful of is how it's affected with the non-farm payroll report. That would be something to have to consider. But it was nice pullback, came back right back to this trend line right here, which is that's our third hit of the trend line. We have another upper trend line that we can draw. So it's actually trading inside of an upward channel. I like looking at those, especially when you're on a move that seems to be in a direction. And you wait as it stays within this channel. It'll probably come up here, maybe tag that, maybe come back here, pull back a little bit, and just keep until it breaks. Right now, your stop would be pretty safe below this point right in here.
I phone you where we are on the 5 minute chart.
Yeah, I'm not going to move my stop, but I'm just going to mark where I would like to. If it breaks this point right here, I'll be looking at maybe getting out of this trade, but I'd like to see it. It would have to break and close below this level right here before I'd reconsider taking this trade off.
Al,
Yes,
where you drew your line, excuse my
this
poor
one here.
English. Yes. Now that's because of the rest of the wicks, or is that because that's below the arrow that populated? This way we can clarify that for
Yeah,
some
the
people.
reason why I drew that line, when I draw these wedges, I usually look for an anchor, a hit, and then here's the third hit. If it breaks the third hit, I oftentimes look at this area right in here as being a trap. And so if it comes in here, a lot of times it'll break a trend line, get everybody thinking it's going to break. They're looking at this trend line. If it breaks, it closes. A lot of times what will happen is it'll break, it'll close, and come back in and just take it right off. And this is what I call the trap. I like to see it break this where the anchor is. If it breaks where the anchor and closes below this line, close and come back and retest the wedge or retest this, then I'm looking for a return back to the that's where I would be looking at reversal. So I'd be looking at a break into here. I would still stay in it. If it comes back in and retests this and doesn't break, then I would probably look at getting out at that point in reverse positions. Since I'm long on this, I reverse positions looking that this area won't hold and it's going to come back down, retest where the green zone is.
I may add something to that, Al.
Okay.
So the moving average that right there is so critical. Myself, I get a little bit concerned when price breaks that moving average and then goes into the previous zone. Like if it goes into the green, there's no way I'll be staying in that.
Yeah, and your stop is right now. I like having a couple barriers. Like right now, as Matt said, we have a nice moving average, which is bouncing off of. We have a trend line, which is bouncing off of, and then we also have a green zone, and our stop is on the other side of all three of those. So you have basically three little barriers that will help keep you inside, out of harm's way. But if it starts breaking two of the three, you may want to, if nothing else, get out of the trade and maybe wait for maybe a possible better entry. Rather than taking the full pip. You don't want to take the full stop out if you can avoid it.
And that's where drilling down to the lower time frames and adding trend lines can help you to not take that big stop loss, right?
Right. The big stop loss that I view is more for if I don't want to be sitting monitoring the trade. You have the stop, and most of the time it's going to keep you out of harm's way before it hits your target. But if you're sitting here watching the charts, you can oftentimes save yourself some pips on drawdown, or save yourself some pips on a losing trade by trying to get out of a bad trade earlier. Because basically what's happening is you project what it's going to do based on the price action. You don't always know, you never know for sure, but you're weighing the odds in your favor. And if what you're projecting doesn't hold true, if it starts changing what you projected, something's wrong. And that's usually a good time to get out. You can see where it came up. It started to find a little bit. Some buyers came in, or some sellers came in right here, right at this trend line. And you're probably within about a pip or two over that line. And that's pretty much what your spread's going to be. Right now we have about spread is right now about 98 to 01. So we have about a 2-point spread. Yeah, about 2-point spread right now.
There's a big zone that just popped up. Judson noted.
Yeah, just this is on a 5-minute chart. So let's go back to our 15. This is where the peekaboo comes in. You can start seeing where these different zones are. You won't see them on the 15-minute because they're not that strong. And maybe it did pop up. We'll see here. Nope, still all those zones that we're looking at, those were on a 5-minute. So that's basically, it was looking at this little price action right in this area right here. This little red zone pullback came back down. Now it's we have green arrows. So right now, as long as these arrows stay green, as long as it stays above this trend line, you should be good to hang into this trade. It takes a little bit of the guesswork and emotions out of it. You have green arrows, you're in an uptrend, you're in a buy trade, you're above the moving average. everything's green and is staying above the moving average. And that's one way you can sort of start to track these as you catch these bigger moves. You can see like last night, here's a bounce, here's an arrow. And if you got in on this arrow right here, you can see where you're green, it's not even coming close to to challenging this. Right here, it came back down, tested it. You had red arrows, or red candles, but it didn't cross the moving average, came back up, formed a target, and you're out of the trade. Now, this target wasn't here at the time. And this probably went up higher, I'm going to guess. And maybe on a higher time frame, possibly. Let me see here. Let me go to a higher time frame. Let me go to let's go to a 1 hour chart, 1 hour time frame, and see if we can find a zone where this thing may have had a target. And that's, yeah, this is on a 1 hour. So this is a 1 hour zone, actually right in a 1 hour zone right here. So this is here's our little uptrend here. This is where the wedge broke, came back down, retested it, and then it came right back down again. You can see how this price, I had this drawn from a couple of days ago. And you can see how we had the arrow. Here is the major zone right up here. That's where we are right at the moment. Came up into zone, was rejected. Green arrows, green candles, red candles all the way down. Retested. This zone started way back over to the left. Hit it, arrow, go, back up into the zone. And so right now it's really, but you can see how this trend line was a nice gauge on the reversal of this pattern. Taking this on over to, let's say we take it over to this point here. This was the previous high. Here's another high. This was a little bit higher high. So, and you can see our target is actually just right below this trend line right here. So I wouldn't give it a whole lot of room. If you get close to your target, just no, I would probably get out of it, especially if you can get out before 8:30 when the non-farm payroll report comes into play.
A couple of things here, Al. Oh, one of them just disappeared. Okay. Charlie is asking, he's new here, and he wanted to know how you got the correlation chart in TradingView.
I put it there. That's
Hey.
it's one of our proprietary tools that we have. You can send me an email, and we're working on getting it available for everybody who uses TradingView. We were using it a lot when we were teaching the Iris alert system. We were using it a lot, and we were encouraging people to be using TradingView. But since the Arrow came out, which is strictly an MT4 platform, a lot of us are just using the MT4. I still use TradingView just because it's so much easier to manipulate the charts and get a little bit better feel for what's going on. But it is a proprietary to TradingView. If you do have TradingView and you like a copy of that,
I just put your link. Yeah, I just put the email.
We'll have we'll collect a list and see where we're at with the developer. They were working with Auvoria Prime to make that available. I'm not sure what the interest is from a Auvoria Prime standpoint of doing that at this point because of we're not really using I use TradingView, and a lot of people in here do use TradingView. But we'll have to see if there's any interest at all. If Auvoria Prime's not interested, we'll just see if we can't make it available just directly through the vendor. But good question. Good question. It does give me a nice range or a gauge on what the strength of a move is relative to the currency that we're looking at to see whether or not I want to be taking it to the upside or to the downside. Now we do have it right now. Here's a high. Here's a nice little low. This is where the wedge was sort of developing. We have this nice move down. Now the question is, how many of these little pullbacks on the way down is it going to take to break? So right now I'm looking at this pullback right here. See, it's still a little bit higher. So I'm looking at this wick and this wick as a potential zone. So it broke this one. Let's move this up. So right now you can see where if this candle closes on this 15-minute candle, if it can close above this zone, that's a good sign that it's going to keep on going up until we get to this area up here.
Colin is asking if you could check the pound yen. He says he took a trade as it closed above Asia channel and see no zones above.
And you did go long on that one, I hope?
Yeah, you have to give us a little more info, Colin.
Pound yen. Let me take a look at it.
Well knows what time frame and everything else that.
Yeah, well, yeah. When you're
looking at.
we need. I'd like to know what direction and what time frame you were looking at. That helps us a lot to make the determination whether you're. I mean, right now, looking at it, looks like it's in a pretty good push to the upside, so that's good. Let's see here.
I'm assuming it's a buy because he said he sees no zones above.
Yeah, so that would be, and that would. It is in a very strong move to the upside right now. And I just scroll back. We have all green zones down below. Let me make sure I'm on a 15-minute chart. I'll move some of these over. And so here's the arrow. Somewhere around in here, we have green zones. I'll scale out. Looks like if you got in on, I'm not sure where you got in, but if you got in on this arrow right here, you're in good shape. This was actually this was yesterday's. That was the trade from yesterday.
Wow, look at that upward that
candle. See if we can find out where this thing is headed. I'll go to a 1 hour chart, nothing. Go to a 4 hour chart. Still nothing.
Looks like a rally-based rally, right?
Yeah, it looks like
Kinda
a rally-based rally.
flag.
So yeah, so this thing could go again the full length of this move right here. Let me go to this is probably a good one to take a look at, British yen. Let me go and find one here.
Pound Aussies in profit, Al. Great call on that one. That's solid.
Thank you. That's yeah, that was a good. Yeah,
that was Collins. Yeah,
we're doing good on that.
Charlie or Colin? I'm sorry.
British yen. Okay, here's the British yen. We're going to look at this thing on the higher time. This is the one we were looking at here earlier. And we're going to come. So right now we can see we had the candle somewhere. It was over in yesterday's. But well, let's see. Right now we're in an uptrend for sure. Now, basically what we need to do is find out where our target is. So I'm going to go to a 4 hour chart. And I see nothing. Boy, this is a nice, big, strong move. Now, there's going to be something somewhere up around here. So I'm going to here's where the high of this move is right now. And I'm just going to scroll back. This is why I like TradingView, is I can just scroll back and see where the last time this thing came into play. And you can see I would say this thing has potential going all the way up to this area right here. If we look at a daily chart, right now we're in the wick of the previous of the daily chart, which was all the way back here in February of this year. So this is basically from this purple line. We're actually in the wick right now of the daily chart, the last wick of the move before the big move down. So we're in this is our zone. If it can break through here, the next place it's going to go is up here. So I'm going to Move this one up. From a daily standpoint, once it comes here, there's no wick from this wick right here. Come over, all you have is a body of a candle, comes all the way up until the next wick. This is from a daily standpoint, this was a strong move down with nothing in between here. Now you can, if you scroll in different time frames, you'll find a lot of price action in this one candle. I said in that daily candle. But that's pretty much where that was. Let me see if I can, what's the date on this? December 18th. If I go to and I'm going to go to December 18th. December 18th, which is right here. And we're going to go to that. And we'll put it on a 15-minute chart. Let's see, it may not go back that far. I would say this thing has a good chance of going all the way up here to the 144.95 area. Yeah, scroll into 15-minute chart. Here's a 5-minute chart. And we can start looking at the price action. You can see where we have strong move up. Remember we were talking about the rally-based rally. This one right here. This is right at the price of, let's see, the rally was right around 144.18. So if we go here to 144.18.
Up 13 pips on GBP AUD, guys.
All right.
Depending on your entry, of course, right?
Yep. Let's see. Maybe we probably want to make it. We're just about ready to hit target on that one. Let's take a look at that before we go back in here. We'll keep an eye on this chart. Let's see what's JBP Aussie. Let's go and put that one on here. British Aussie. This should be, it's going to find some little bit of heat right in this area here. These are the last wicks. And we did get a close. We had this little this candle did close right in here, right inside. No wick at all, so you expect a little bit of a pullback. But I do like, here's a body, and it comes over here, some wicks. So I would expect that right about in here would be, we had this nice move down, came up. This is as high as it came before. So this is where the rejection of that move was. And I would be out before, I would probably be looking at taking profit somewhere, anywhere in this green zone, which I'm going to make red because this is actually where the supply is. Enter, let's see, supply right in here. And in fact, we're so close to, let's see, my target was, I'm at 17 pips, 18 pips right now. I'm happy with that before a non-farm payroll report. I'm out of that trade.
Yeah, me too. Grab my pips.
Look at that, Al, right at your supply zone, to the pit.
Mm-hmm.
You think...
And I was really looking all over here. This is where I was looking at. I was looking at this last time. Again,
Yep.
Here was the first move down. It came back, retested this zone, and then this is the big zone that just fell apart right over here. This was the origin of that. And if you look where the wicks are, you'll see where the bodies, like here's a drop, here's a little bit of a base, it dropped, came back. This was actually a retest zone right in here. And retest here, came back, retest again. And right here is where you had that little bit of a wedge. High.
Well played. Going to the left is great.
This was the upper channel. It broke out of channel. This is, look at this pattern right here. It came back down. It broke the channel and closed. Came back up, retested the channel, and then here it fell apart. And when it fell apart, it came back down to over here. And if I look at this area right in this area right here, and they'll probably be able to find where you can see why it stopped here. So we have a zone right here. Come along over here, and right now I'm just looking at the wicks on this. This is how you can kind of practice a little bit. See, okay, what caused this thing to reverse at this point? And if you come all the way over to the left, you'll see, well, here's a strong move up. It came back down. I would have been looking at possible this wick right here. This was where the last wicks were on the up move. It came back, strong move up, came back down. And I just catch these wicks because that's where the buyers came in, right in that area. And now I look over here and say this is, and you can see where it just came right down and tagged it right here. And it came back and rejected it.
That's super powerful, Al. That's like price action to the.
And that's a good way to be able to figure out, just to maybe help determine, do I want to go for that extra couple of pips, or I might say, you know what, I'm just going to be happy with this. Now it could come back and take this whole zone out. We did have the actual origin of the whole down move was up here, but it's going to come in here. It found some buyers, some sellers. Came back in, found some more sellers. Once all these sell orders get chewed up, it's going to come up because if there's sell orders here, there's probably a really good chance that you're going to have a few more up here. Here's the high, the previous high. This is all the way back in February. And here's the wicks. This is the highest close. I look to see where the highest close of a candle is. And the higher the time frame, the more, usually the bigger it is, but also the stronger it is. And that's how that works.
That's an S&P.
All right. So let's see where we at. We did get out of that trade, so that's good. So the S&P, the S&P, that thing's probably going to caution to everybody. Don't try this S&P is making new highs. It just broke the current high yesterday. Don't try and pick the top. Just wait until the top gets till you get a major reversal. Because if you're in an uptrend, when it pulls back, just try and buy back in. Keep on. If it's in a strong uptrend, like the S&P is, just keep buying the pullbacks and wait for it to totally reverse, and then start giving it another trend to the downside. Because if you just try and pick the tops, you're probably going to end up doing some major damage to your account.
Agreed. You don't want to be buying a top, right? You want to be buying a bottom or buying a retrace. But
buy the pullbacks on a strong uptrend, and when it starts reversing to where you're getting more red zones, then start selling it after that, and then start selling the pullbacks. Right. As long as it's an uptrend, because you keep thinking, oh, it's at an all-time high. It's at an all-time. Well, all-time highs just keep on making new all-time highs. And then you just get frustrated. This one is, this is gold. I got the wrong one here. This is S&P we're looking at. Yeah. S&P, I'll be willing to bet you're going to see a lot of green. Any takers on that bet?
Not me.
But you think gold? Oh yeah, it's got to pull back though.
Yeah, it's got
to come back somewhere.
It's got to pull back somewhere, but again, don't wait for it to pull back. Wait for that bounce arrow to get back in again.
Right.
Because all you're going to be doing is all it does is eat your lunch. Eat
your lunch and everything else you got.
Yeah.
It's gonna rinse you.
And it really starts playing with your head. So again, word of caution: don't do it.
We've got something in the Q&A. US CAD M15 using the fib could be a good setup for a buy if the NFP is positive news. Please ask Al to analyze it.
US CAD was
Yeah.
the question.
The US CAD, yeah,
Okay.
on the M15 using the fib.
Okay,
He's
well,
saying-
let me finish this one, and then we'll take a look at that one.
Yeah, okay.
Object, and we'll see. Let me get rid of that fib. I got the fib line here. And let's see. Where's my fib line? Let me just click on that. I'm going to get rid of it, just delete it, and there it goes away. And we're going to, okay, we know we're in an uptrend with this. So let's just zoom in. We did get the cross. Here's a drop. You see, drop. You got some red candles, and with a down arrow. Now, there's a good chance this thing is going to come with a non-farm payroll report today. I would expect to see this thing kind of drop on down. How far down, I don't know, but right now this could be just another pullback during the non-farm payroll. Now we're in an uptrend. I would be cautious about taking it. I wouldn't take it short yet. I'd be looking for to come back down, do a retracement. We're going to draw our fib tools here. And I'm going to start with the last candle, which would be right here, to leave the zone, kind of all up here to the top of the zone. This is the fib retracement technique. So you have a strong move up, you have the pullback. It crossed over the blue line, and now it's pulling back into this zone. If it pulls back into about the 50, 62%, and can't, let's say it pulls back, say, into this, and then gives you a reversal pattern, either like a railroad track or a strong pivot down with two higher lows on either side, then you can maybe take a shot at maybe retesting this. I would expect this thing to come back down on the report, strong move down on the report, come back up, retest it. This where it will these reports will fleece people of something terrible. It'll come out, it'll give you a little bit of head fake, saying, oh, it's going to go long again. So people jump in, takes all this stuff, brings it all the way down, gets everybody stopped out, and then comes back up, retest this. Then they think, okay, it's going back long again. And here's where the reversal really starts. This will be your M pattern. Here's your first leg of the M, the left shoulder. Here's the middle of the M. Comes back in, retest the shoulder, which is this zone up here, and then comes back down and then retest the origin of where this move is.
Al, we just got an alert for the pound Swiss for a buy, my friend.
Pound Swiss. Ooh,
Yeah.
Pound Swiss.
I didn't check it on the arrow yet, but I like the structure of it.
Well, we are in an uptrend. We are in a red zone. We have to wait for it to close out through that red zone.
Yeah. There's a flat top wedge there, though, Al.
There is a flat top wedge, which is basically the top of the zone. But here's here's strong move up, pull back, 3-wave move up, retest, and here's our wedge or our trend line. We just call them trend lines, because that's really what they are.
Right.
Right here's the bounce. So right here there's the anchor. Here's the hit. We have a higher high. I like the trend from this. I'm going to draw a trend line from here to up here and see how many. We know that it's not going to hit here because this one's flat. This was the rocket ship. This was the last move up before it based, and then it would hit again. So I'm going to be looking at this pivot high right here. I'm going to tag that with this pivot high right here, and we'll see if this is maintaining a channel. And so here's the anchor, here's the hit. We had a breach of it, and it came back down. So I'm just going, I'm going to keep that. You see, here's a hit, here's a hit, here's a hit. This could be the reversal right in here. Come back down, retest the wedge, and this thing could come back down. And I'd be careful about taking this thing long because I'd be looking at the top of this trend line as being a target for this up move. If we could break that, then you could be off to the races to the upside. Right now, we've had a really strong move up. It's basing, and it's hard to say where the top is. So this is where I would go to my other charts. What time is it? It's 8:07. We have about 15 more minutes before the report. Let's see.
I'm hesitant to enter a trade right before NFP because I've seen those candles on the pound pairs go 50, 100 pips in 1 minute.
Yeah, it can work as well as for you as well as against you. So here's the pound Swiss. Let's take a look at this one here, pound Swiss. See if there's a chance for it to be breaking out. Pound Swiss. Oh, this is a high time supply zone, right? Where it's playing right now. And so let's go to my 15. Actually, may have to go to a higher time frame here. Start with the 15. I use 15, 5, and a 1 is what I usually use for this. And I do most of my work off of the 15. Oops, where to go? There we go. And we're going to see where we know we're in a supply zone. We know we had a strong move up. Let's move into a higher time frame so we can see. Let's look at the dailies and see what we're looking at here. Strong move up. And we're going to see where over here was the last time it hit this area. And we're going to find out because we go over here. This was a daily. On a daily chart, you can see this candle down. It formed a wick, came back up, closed. The next candle opened up higher. This is what you call wick on a wick. Let's see if I can unlock this so you can see those wicks a little bit better. As I scroll out here a little bit, these are all daily candles. Came all down, found some buyers, came in here. Next day, drove the price up a little bit, had a wick. So this is a wick over wick. This is a strong area right here. And you see where it came back down. This was the last place it was retested, which was right here. It was retested right. That was the last time in this box that was a high. So if it can close above this purple line, which looks like it may, which it already did, close above the purple line. So that means this thing still has some room to the upside, but this is where it was rejected the last. So right now, price-wise, we're inside this zone. And we'll come into a 15-minute chart and take a look at what that, actually, go back to here's where it closed. Right now, this is a little bit of a wedge right through here, little channel. There's my tool. So here was this was the candle that broke it. So here's a high, we're in an upper channel. Here's a low, here's a higher high, here's a higher low. Trying to get this thing going in the right direction here.
9 minutes.
Thank you, Matt. Just keep me posted on that so we can pick a chart where we want to be watching this thing on.
Yeah. Let's check this out. So you're probably going to get some pretty aggressive moves. Everyone's kind of setting up their positions. The insiders already know, like the market makers, they already know where they want to send this anyway. So they don't get caught by surprise.
This little triangle tool, sometimes it just doesn't want to stay in the right direction that I want to go. So I'll just draw a trend line here. So from here's like, you see there's a small little wick over wick. It came right up here with a strong move. Hardly any wick at all. Came right down, pulled back just a little bit and shot back up. this is, again, this is the origin of where this move was broke. So there's a trend here. And then we have another trend over up top here. This is our upward channel. We're in the supply zone, this red zone right here. It broke. So right now, this is the top. This is the next major fib line, but it could just keep on going. But once it breaks this, it may come, especially with this being such a strong zone and being on a lower time frame, it may come out and then retest the zone. It's basing inside here. It'll come back out, retest the zone, probably to a fib line or a major point, and then break down. So right now, this could be a trap in this area. I would be looking at this area right in here as being, it could be a possible trap to maybe get a better position, or just be careful if this thing breaks. Look at this as being a possible trap area. So a lot of times they'll head fake down, think, okay, it's breaking the trend line, comes back up, takes your stop, and then comes back down again. But right now we're in a place where this thing could reverse anytime right now. And let's go to the S&P. Let's just take a look at that S&P for when the move, when this market happens here. Was there anything I missed so far that we?
Nope.
Gold had a good drop already. Gold had a drop. Let's see. Yeah.
GBP AUD, Al, your exit was on point. It dropped. It broke into my wedge again. So that was a great call on the exit.
We get lucky once in a while.
More than luck. That's not lucky.
Price has memory. It may be a long time. It's like an elephant. It may be a long time since it, but when it gets to that area, it doesn't forget where the price was. Let's take a look at the S&P for the next 5 minutes here, because that's usually one that gets really affected pretty heavily. And now my charts are acting rather slow.
Yeah, I've never watched S&P on non-farm payroll though, so.
You never have?
Nope. I'm always watching the currencies. It's only been the last 3 weeks that I started messing around with the indices. And so.
My chart just locked up.
Oh.
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let's see here. Let's see, US.
Oh, look at that thing.
Since my charts have locked up on this one, let me pull this. There's the S&P. Look at it all for three different time frames. Here's the, I'll put it on a 1 hour, 15 minute, since I don't have my other charts working right now. You can see it's been in a slow up move all night long. It's been, and it's right now it's coming right up on that 3,900 level, which I suspect will be a turnaround point, at least to get a bounce off of 3,900. And it may be on its way up to 4,000. But here we go. Let me put a line on the 830. Here's 830 right there. Oops, wrong. That's 930, 830. That's better. I say I thought it was a lot closer than that.
3 minutes.
And start seeing it's starting to make some little, people are taking positions right in here. Here's the overnight high. Here's the overnight. This is the area of question right now before the announcement. Let's see, where is the overnight? Overnight high is, we'll just mark it over here. This is the overnight high right there. And the overnight low is, look for my blue line. So here's the overnight low. We'll mark that. It looks really big over here, but it's not, doesn't look quite so big over on this side. And we have about 2 more minutes. And start seeing how the movement goes on the 1 minute before the time. And we'll see what it does. One minute starting to make it move to the upside. Here's our overnight high, right there, 38.93 area.
One minute.
Strong move to the downside, but wait, there's more.
Looks like non-farm payroll is behaving.
Yeah, it was already projected. This big move overnight, I think, was already kind of projecting it. Hasn't really
Sometimes,
broken out of this zone right here.
yeah, sometimes non-farm payroll is a dud, and sometimes it's a stud.
I don't think it's done yet.
No.
Usually after the report, I usually give it at least 15 minutes before I get into anything, 15 to 30 minutes.
I can see it on my gold trades. The price of gold is increasing.
That's a good thing for those
Well,
of
it
you
is
who
for me.
are
I'm in
long
a
on gold.
I'm in a couple of buys. Are you in any gold, Hal?
Oh, yeah, my variable got me into the gold.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, that's what I have too, is my
And it's been playing around all day yesterday and the day before. So it's been a couple of days it's been in there.
How's it been performing for you guys?
Well, it's
variable?
not that it's variable that's not been performing. It's the nonsense with the indices that's going on right now. It's the US dollar is driving everything.
Yeah.
So it's really
Yeah.
not, I don't want the guys to get the wrong
No.
impression. Variable is an awesome expert.
Yeah,
It really
I've been
is.
running variable with the SAN settings, and it's been doing very well. It's been behaving itself. It's had a little bit of drawdown, but it's it's been pretty good so far. At least last I checked it.
Yeah, it's been doing really well. I'll just need to keep in mind that Al and I do run indices on it, and it's recommended not to. So
Yeah.
Right now it's the indices that are being affected, and because it's a counter trade artificial intelligence robot, we're in sells where we should be in buys and vice versa. So that kind of sums it up. But my Dow Jones and my NASDAQ are both in sells, and the price on them is just going up and up and up. So there you have it. And the same with the golds. We're in buys, and the price has been driven down because of the US dollar. So we're
A
at
lot,
what goes on in the US.
Especially with a lot of these, when you get these strong drawdowns with these contra trend EAs or artificial intelligence software, the biggest thing is that you'll get into the drawdown very well. Really, is if you trade the pairs that Hassan is recommending to trade, your drawdown. My drawdown hasn't been that significant with pairs that he's been trading. If you start trading with the indexes like the S&P or the NASDAQ or the gold, you're going to have a lot more volatility. You're going to get a lot more drawdown. But if you can weather the storm, so to speak, it has a high level of profitability, but it's not for the faint of heart. It's you need to have a you can expect several layers of opposite positions before you get the snapback to become profitable.
Yeah. So it's an exercise in nerves of steel is what it is.
Yeah. What I like doing is I like running that, and then I like trading manually. To that way, if it gets me into a buy in a downtrend, I can manually trade the downtrend while it's where the bounce arrow goes.
Exactly.
Though you're trading with the trend as it's taking opposite trend, it sort of helps to balance out the drawdown a little bit.
That also works as an additional confirmation, right?
It does. Yeah, it does.
So it kind of puts you at ease a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And also, especially with the, and this is another reason why it's really important to have a broker that allows you to take opposite positions. If you have a U.S. broker, you can't take an opposite position of the same pair. Like if you have a Euro-U.S. pair, you can't do a buy and a sell at the same time. But by doing that, you're able to stabilize. You're able to stabilize the drawdown or stabilize the, basically the drawdown or the move against you with the opposite position. So basically, it's sort of like a zero-sum game. As one goes up, the other one goes down, and it stabilizes your account. Then you wait for that the place where you want to unleash it. So unleash the one that's profitable and let the other one get you back into profitability. It does help to stabilize the drawdown on your account. And that's where learning to manually trade is a real plus with some of these artificial intelligence software trades. It gives you that opportunity to do that. And that's one thing and that's one reason why we're teaching these technical analysis techniques in this room, so that you can put those things in your toolbox if you so choose to. And if you don't, there's certainly not anything wrong with not doing it. But for those of you who are wanting to know a little bit more about the trading, this is the place to be with learning some of these technical techniques.
So someone mentioned EG buy.
Actually, I think we could probably stop looking at this thing. EG buy.
Yeah.
Let's see, EG. No, I see my trade lock. There it goes. Finally cleaned up there. EG.
Actually, can I just say something out loud here for a moment to the guys in the chat, how you're having problems with your VPSs locking up and whatnot. I'm not sure how many charts you've got running on it, but you may want to minimize them and put them just to Nate's recommended, like the pound pairs and the 4 euros, and leave it at that and see if that helps at all. It's the only thing I can think of, because I know mine's running fine and I've got 32 charts on mine. So
see, I'm like you, Ava. I'm not experiencing lockups. I had it
Okay.
crash yesterday, but I've got variable. I've got two gearboxes and arrow all running on the same VPS, and it's crashed once.
Yeah, mine's running real slow right now. And again, I'm running gearbox with 20 about 18 pairs, and I'm running this one with about 30 some pairs. Plus, I'm finding out that when we're in the room with how many we've got a lot of people here today.
Yeah, got a good crew.
It seems like the more people that are in the room, the more things seem to get locked up.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just an observation or if that's a fact.
So now let me ask you something, Matt. When we're running the VPS, like the Auvoria Prime VPS for the Arrow, is that web-based or is that like right on our computers? I'm wondering
it's web-based 110% because it's a cloud, and the way that we can access it is through either your web or you can use a remote desktop.
Okay, so in a case like how I've got a couple of people in the chat saying about how they're having issues running like even 20 charts, it could possibly be your computer's actual RAM. You might want to check and see what's it can't cache it properly if there's not enough RAM, if you've got too much other stuff going on your computer.
Oh, I just meant like internet connection wise, because all of the processing power is done on the remote computer. So in the server farm, in the big secured building where all these VPSs are housed, that's where all the processing power is done for the software. But your connection is your interface towards it. So if it's slow, so if you had a dial-up modem and you tried to maneuver around on a VPS, your mouse speed would be terribly slow.
And that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The random access memory, right? And that's what that is. Bringing stuff in so you can see it on your screen. That's your RAM. That's your RAM. So whether it's through the internet or however it is. So I'm not talking about like his actual system. It's just his RAM. It all, like everyone has different RAM on their computers, right? Like if anybody's a pro in there, please jump in. Let us know what you think. But that's been my experience, that if I have my computer loaded up with other stuff, sometimes you need to clear your cookies and your history and different things like that to clean stuff out, like to do some housekeeping on your system. And if that helps to free up the random space that you need when you're running these things.
Yeah, here's something, Ava, that I don't know if, can you see this little flag down here in the lower right-hand corner with a little X by it? I don't know if you guys can see that or not. But at the lower right-hand corner of your VPS, there's like a little flag right by the clock. If there's an X there, that shows you that there's probably some updates that need to be done. And I mean, I just did this a couple of days ago. It looks like there's another update there as well. So at the end of today, for sure, I will go and update the VPS Windows 10 platform in the VPS, and I will reboot again. And that should help clear out some of the cache and clear out some of the other stuff and help get things maybe running a little bit smoother. Because by the end of the week, sometimes I think it just gets, the cache gets loaded up and it just starts running a little bit slower too.
I agree with that. And I also find that the remote desktop, utilizing that, like Matt says, that helps a lot because you're not using your own desktop, basically. You're like that's all cloud-based as well. So you're using somebody else's desktop in effect, right? So
all right. Yeah, no, I get you. Someone wants us to check UJ. Was there an alert on UJ or something? Was there a specific time, Brendan, that you were looking at? Because right now it's breaking the
Looks like UJ right here. Everybody can still see it. I'm strong move down. This is the non-farm payroll report. Probably effect on that.
Mhm.
There was some British news right around that same time frame. So we are in an uptrend, and we're looking with an up arrow. We have a nice pullback from the arrow. So here's this is one of those things where we had the arrow before the report. And let's see here. This is should be on a 15-minute chart. Let's see. Make sure I'm on a 15. There we go. That's 15. So we're going to mark. I'm not seeing anything to the upside. This is at the 105.58 area. So let's put some lines on here. Go to my objects list, go to my open trades, and go 105.59-ish. For that one, should put a blue line right about where the entry was for the alert. We are below, so we are in an uptrend with a pullback below our trend line. This could actually be a possible Fibonacci trade as we have a strong move out. Here's the origin of the green zone, come back, tags the blue line. That's the significance of where you can do the pullback and then see if it comes back up. This is the line. Right now we would be in a little better position. Target, let's go for a target of 105.79. We're just marking it. We're not taking this trade yet. We're just marking it. We probably would have already been in it if you took it way back here at, and then the stop would be at 105.19. And that would be how that would look. And then let's see if we can figure out, let's see if we can get this thing to, you're doing it the wrong way. There we go. That's what I was trying to do.
Okay.
Nice pullback. Here's our target. Let's see if there's a zone above UJ. Let's see. Right now we have strong candle down. Let's take a look at this on a other chart. If I can find one here.
We just got 5 alerts.
Oh, really? Oh boy. Let's take a look at those. So that's
Yeah, I got too many.
This would be a possible trade. This is a possible trade. We're in the right direction. Let's see. Let's take a look at Aussie Swiss.
I'll have a look at the pound Aussie. Or we were just doing that one, weren't we?
Pound Aussie.
Not too long ago.
Yeah, now it's a sell.
So
I'll look at the Aussie Swiss. Let's take a peek at that.
And I'll look at the Aussie CAD. How's that?
Okay, so I'll look at pound CAD then.
Okay.
Uptrend, up arrow. Scale out.
Aussie is wow, one huge candle.
15. We have a red zone right in front of us, but after the red zone, we could possibly get a breakout.
Yeah, same story with GCAD right now. You got that red zone right there.
Yeah.
Let's see. What was looking at Aussie Swiss.
Aussie CAD's a no-go. That cannot be eliminated.
Mm.
We were late to the party. The alert came through when it was already in the red zone.
Yeah.
Aussie Swiss. So that's looks like it's coming up to a 3-hour zone. We did get the break over here, so we did get a break. This thing could go up to Be looking at possibly Aussie Swiss. If it breaks through that zone, we could maybe get a trade on that up to about 60, 68.92, and we're at 68.79. So we're just about 68.72 would be an entry for this, which is we're a little bit beyond that, but we do have a close. This is a little bit of a wedge. We have a little bit of an upper channel here. Here's a rally, here's a basing, here's another rally. So I'll take it from the start of the last, where the basing was. I like it, and so it starts to they start to converge over here. But this would be a target, the line would be a target. So if we could get with this one, we were in the right direction. Let's see, we have 22 pips to the top of the line. We have the Aussie strong to the by 3 is strong to the, yeah, we could probably take that one. I would be looking at 68.92 for a target. But it has to get through the zone, which should be, actually, there's the top of the target is right at the top of where the zone is. If it breaks through that, then it would be looking at a possibility of 69.11, which would probably be about where the next zone would be.
Is this the counter trend time now?
Yep, it is. We are in the counter trend time frame. Yep, we sure are.
Because the pound Aussie looks good for a counter trend, but an entry below the green zone on the 5 minute that shows up. I just wondered what your thoughts were on that.
Pound Aussie, let me take a look at that. Okay, we are in the, let me get rid of some of these trend lines that we have here. And the vertical line is going to be 0, 1. Let's see, what's the date today? Today's the 5th.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the, there's that one. And that would be the 5th here. I just discovered if I just keep these in my object list and just change the date at the time, I don't have to play around with it so much. Boom, there we go. We are in a contra trend. I would think that we have strong move up. Here's a wick right down here. I'd be looking at a possible target would be, this point would be a target, but we're just about right there. So I would hold off on that one. If it can break through here, if it can break through this wick, it could go further.
Now that wick, if you draw a line there, or at least in mind, can we have a look at the 5 minute? That might be where the bottom of the next zone is on the 5 minute.
Let's see.
Yeah, 79.46.
Pretty close.
Look at that. So yeah, so that's what my thought was, that if it got below that, if it broke through that zone, then it's kind of free sailing to the south. What do you think?
Yeah, I would expect maybe a bounce off of this, and What is the overall trend on this one? The 15-minute
It's an uptrend overall. This is
uptrend overall.
so that's why I was
we
wondering.
really didn't get a bounce off of this.
Well, it kind of did.
Yeah, well, it was. Yeah, here's the bounce arrow. This was a this was a trend. This is a contra trend move, retesting the zone. This is kind of a retest. Yeah, I would agree with you. Even if it breaks this, it's probably going to come down to possibly. I would say if it breaks the zone there, I would probably be looking at maybe this area right here for a target. Now the question is there enough room for a zone break to the downside? I'd be more up to thinking that, yeah, I think it'd be close.
Is there a reason why you wouldn't be able to aim for 20 and?
Yeah, I think, I mean, that's certainly possible. I'm just trying to see if, I'm just looking at, just sort of marking where that arrow was. Yeah, that's pretty much, I mean, you got 19 pips. That's, I mean, if I can get 19 to 20 pips, if I feel good about the direction, I'll take the trade. But I want to see a bounce off of here. I don't see a break this one first.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking at, this looks like about, that was the wick that was the last wick that the buyers came in, took over on that one. If you look into this a little bit closer. So the buyers came in, broke the zone. This zone was actually broken. Came and broke it, retested the zone, and came back up again. Now it's coming to retest the zone right here. I would wait and see if there's a bounce that would confirm a bounce, maybe go to the upside. If this is weak, it's going to break through and then it'll probably come back down to around this area. So it would still be a contra trend trade. Usually with a contra trend trade, you kind of want to get in early in this zone. You probably would have wanted to get, I mean, this arrow right, let me see, that's on a 5-minute candle. Let me see if I can see where that we can. We didn't get a 15-minute candle, I don't think, on this one. It's 28 pips. If you're on the 5-minute chart, contra trend, and you took that candle, you probably could have gotten in. And that's about ready to wrap it up for the day. Anybody have any other questions before we go?
Trey was wondering if EG is a good buy or not. Euro pound.
Euro British. Euro British right here. Let's see what my Euro British. Not overly thrilled about it, but it looks like we're in a. Let's see, 15.
You being in the
it'd be contra trend. We're in the contra trend zone. Let's see if I can.
Yeah.
Looking for 1700, right, or 17 is right about there. So we're getting near the end of the zone. I usually like seeing it take a little bit faster than that. Let me see here. Let's see, we're on the, oh shoot, that's not one, that one. And we went on the 15-minute chart. That's,
Yeah, Trey is saying that the 5-minute and the 15-minute are completely different with the zones.
Yeah, they are.
Hey, there's CV. Resistance on the 5-minute, he says.
I can't hardly get my charts to move here. There we go. That's a little better. Let's see.
Well, I can talk, but I can't move Charles over. So, unfortunately.
Well, we got 2 minutes anyways.
Yeah, we're
Oh,
about
yeah, then we're done.
I
we're
don't
about
think
done.
it matters at this point, Matt.
No, I didn't see that.
They're good.
But this was, oh boy. There's an arrow. I just can't get my chart stuff. Work on this one here.
Yeah, this is so cumbersome, this MT4 platform, really.
Well, it's a kind of a combination of the things, the lag with, or the slowness of the VPS and then the platform itself. I'm never quite sure if it's just have to be patient, but here's which was the direction of our trend on this one?
Down. This would be a counter trend.
This would be counter trend.
Yeah.
It's still within the zone. This is a 15-minute, here's a bounce arrow. Euro British, Euro British, Euro British. Euro's still the strongest of the bunch. And so let's see, that's at 87.49 to 59.6, say 50, 60, 70, I'll call it 70. 87. So pretty much this is the target right here. Lots of room to here's where this down move started. It's right up in this area. I would be apt to, let's see if I can find a shape here. Insert a shape, rectangle. I would like this, I like this zone right here. This is where the last 15-minute arrow was right here. So this could be a target. If you want to stay with this, you could use this as a target or the 20 pips off the arrow. And you can see where the target is, where my green line is right now. That's coming right here where the last retest, right in this area, retest, it hit twice there. May go a little bit deeper the next time. And on that note, I think we're about done here. Any last questions?
Actually, Benjamin's got a quick question in here about reduce RAM consumption. He's asking what needs to be closed. Any applications that you're not using. If anybody is an IT kind of a techie person out there, can you raise your hand and help to answer this question?
Yeah, you saw D. Smith answered that, right?
Well, no, he didn't actually, because RAM is your random access memory. Even opening a web page, you need to have sufficient RAM for it to open the web page on your computer. So
okay. I got a couple of people that may raise their hand. I'm going to turn your mics on and maybe you can shed some light on the subject here. So I'm going to allow.
So you guys, okay.
I'm allow Garvin to talk here. See what.
Garvin, can you answer?
Ooh, that's.
Oh no, that wasn't me. Sorry.
Oh, that's almost inaudible. Yeah, we can't. Yeah, we're gonna have to turn that one off because we're gonna have to mute you. We can't understand what you're saying.
Benjamin, just Google it. That's your quickest way to look at it. Google to find out how to reduce your RAM consumption so that you have enough available.
Let me try this one. Was it Fatu?
I think these names were already had their hands before I asked them.
Well, we're having some really problems with the audios on this.
Yeah, I think if
I wonder if we're not allowed to do that. I wonder if it doesn't set up for this Zoom room possibly. Well, I guess we're just gonna have to Google the question and see if we can find the answer that way. So with that, I said, again, I would say update your Windows 10 on your VPS over the weekend, do the updates, go back to the Auvoria Prime. I understand if you go back to the Auvoria Prime back office and reboot it from the back office, I think someone said it has a better effect there than if you just reboot it off the VPS platform. I don't know. I'm not a techie. But anyway, with that, thanks again, everybody, for coming in. We'll be back again Monday morning, same time, 7:30 to 9. See you then.